Hi all, welcome back to another lecture of DBMS, and in this lecture we will see what are views in SQL. So in short, we have already learned in our past to past lectures what are views. In this lecture we will be learning in depth what are views, then we'll see the difference between views and the actual tables. Then we'll learn about security and views, simple views, complex views and modifying views. So stay tuned for the video, and again views are you can say this is also one of those topics which are most frequently being asked in interview. So stay tuned, let's focus and let's learn about this topic as well. So what are views in SQL? So a view is a virtual table in SQL that is based on select query. So we actually gets the view based on the select query, and it also contains rows and columns just like a real table, but the data is stored dynamically based on the query rather than being stored on the disk. So when we create when we actually fetch the view of the table, it is simply a dynamically stored value, not the physically stored value. Okay, so in table it is physically stored, but in view it's dynamically stored just for the representation purpose. It simplifies complex queries, providing specific data access and enhance security by restricting data access to certain user. So basically it actually simplifies the complex queries by providing specific data access. So we can have the specific data access on the table. If instead of the whole table, if we want some few columns from the table, then we can get it from the with the help of view. And also it actually restricts the data access to certain users. So this is a, let's see, this is a train table and booking table, and we want to create a view out of those. So we will create like we'll write the query for view, create view, name, booking details. So booking details with the name of the view table. Now as here we will select those columns which we want. So we want book b dot booking id, b dot passenger, t dot train name and b dot date. So basically we want booking id, passenger name and date from bookings table. That's why we have given b dot. Okay. Now we want t dot train name also. So train name. Okay. Now we want from which table we want? We want from booking table B and trains table. Okay. So as you know that for both the tables, to get the result from like columns from both the tables, you need to join. So you will write the join operator here. On which condition you want to join? Obviously that train ID should match. Okay. So B dot train ID should match with T dot train ID. So you have matched, and now you have created this. So booking ID and so 101 Rajdhani matches with this 101, right? Again 101, then 103 matches, right? So you will be creating on this condition B dot train ID and T dot train ID, you will be getting this, right? So this was about the views in SQL, how we create, and actually this is not the actual table. You can say train table and booking table are actual table storing the data in the physical space somewhere. But view is something like, the data are dynamically stored basically to represent like how the data is actually looks like, but it does not mean that it is again creating a special memory just to store this booking details view and then it is showing you. It's nothing like that. Okay. Now let's see the difference between views and in actual tables. So in views are basically, it is also called virtual tables and created based on select query. It does not store data and stores the query definition. It does not store anything. In tables are physical structure that stores actual data in physical rows and column. So this is a basic difference in views and tables. Next is data is retrieved dynamically when the view is query and cannot always be updated. Yes. So in the case of view, data can be retrieved based on our query and it cannot be updated. So you can only see the actual data. You cannot perform any updation, right? Or any modification on it. But in the table, as the actual data is stored, so you can apply the modifications like you can insert the data values, you can insert rows, you can delete, you can modify, you can update, anything you can do on table because it is actually a physical storage of the data. But in case of view, it is only dynamically representation of the data. It's not actually storing anything, so you do not have access to do that modification things. Next is views depends on one or more base tables. So you can create a view either from a single table or from after joining or merging multiple tables. But table is something, it exists independently. So when we call it a booking table, so booking table is single table. It exists independently. Again, trains table, cancellation table, right? Customer table, person table. So table is basically in unique identification, you can say. So it exists independently without any dependency. But we create view either from single. So basically it depends on table to create the view because it does not have their own actual data. It just have a, copy, you can say. the instance of the real data, real table, and it can be from one table or it can be from multiple tables also. Views are created to simplify complex queries, provides data abstraction and enhance security. It also enhances security because it is not letting you to modify the data because, right? And in case of table, the tables are stored and managed data in the database. Table basically stores the physical data and also it manages data, and their normalization enhance performance. So in case of database, in case of tables database, to remove the redundancy and all, to make it less complex, we create their normalization basically, which actually helps to enhance the performance in the table. But in case of views, it provides creating the views, actually it simplifies the complex query and it also enhances the security because views only give access to some certain users. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the views and the tables. I hope it is clear. Now let's move on to the views and security. So views actually help to improve security by restricting users access to specify columns or rows of data, thereby limiting exposure to sensitive information. So view only gives the access basically to see the actual data to a specific columns, and it also hides the more sensitive columns or the more sensitive data. How? For example, a view can be created to only show non-sensitive booking details and hiding other columns like passenger information, user ID, password and all those things, right? So view is basically to represent the non-sensitive data and hiding the sensitive data, abstract the sensitive data, and that's how it gives you more security. So let's see how we can create here the view. So we are creating the view from trains table and booking table and name it as limited bookings table. Okay, so we'll be name it as limited booking table as. Now we are selecting booking ID, train name. So booking ID we are selecting OK, and train name we are selecting OK. Now you can say why you have not given B dot booking ID, T dot train name and all, right? T dot train ID, because in case you can see train ID from trains table and train ID from bookings table having the same name. So to show it that they are actually different, we name and we make it make alias of this tables T dot like train names we give it T and then bookings table we give it B, so that we can fetch T dot train ID we want or B dot train ID we want. But in case you know that we are selecting the booking ID and train name, and booking ID is only present in booking table and train name is only present in trains table, so it won't get confused. So we don't need to give any alias in this case. Okay. So from bookings join trains. So we are performing a join operation, basically merge the table and then create the view. Okay. On which condition? That their train ID should be same. Again the same condition. So we have created. So that is about the security. Let's suppose here if we have a password column and all. So view provides that functionality that you can't take the non-sensitive information to be leaked out. So this is about views and security. Now let's move on to simple views. So simple views, what does it mean? Simple view is derived from a single table without any group functions or multiple joins. So without operation any merging of tables or without performing any joins, if we are getting this view from a single table, you can say it is a simple view. Again, it can be used for basic data selection and modifications, and it contains no function and allow DML operations. So DML operation means data manipulation operations. So let's suppose here we will write it create view and we'll name it a simple booking view. Okay, as what? We'll be selecting booking ID, passenger and date column. Booking ID, passenger and date column. So this is the speciality about views, that you can create as much column as you want, or you can leave any columns also. So from booking table you have selected this, and this will be the view of this single table. So a view created from a single table is called the simple view. So that is the basic definition for simple view, and that is the advantage that it is a basic data selection and modification. So it contains no function and allows DML operations as well. Now let's move on to the complex view. So complex view may be derived from the multiple tables or use group functions. So complex view, it is totally opposite to simple view, where we were deriving the view from only single table. Here we will be deriving the view from the multiple tables, applying a lot of join functions and the aggregated functions also, like sum, max, min and all. So these views are based on multiple tables, often include aggregate function and might not always allow DML operations. So here you might not get the DML operations access, but in case of simple views you can get the access of DML operation. Why I'm saying this? Because in simple view, you have only, you are representing a same as it is, all the rows and columns from a same table. So even if you change anything, right, in this simple view, even if you change anything, let's suppose date, okay, so only one place modification is required, and that is still okay. But in case of complex views, it might happen that date parameter is here also, date parameter is here also. So it might happen that particular column is already present in multiple tables. So if you are applying or doing any modification in the view, then it might happen that it has not updated in every table or in every columns of the tables. So that might cause the data interruption. That is why in complex views, the modifications like the DML operations are not acceptable at every point of time. So let's see how we are actually making the complex view from these many tables. So we are selecting the train cancellations. Okay, train cancellations means the middle table. Now we are selecting the column name like booking ID, passenger, train name, C reason. So booking ID and passenger from the booking table. Now reason from cancellation table and train name from trains table. Okay, from bookings B, join trains T. So booking B this and joins train T. Right. Now on the condition that their train ID should be same. Now with this, one resultant table will be created, and that resultant table will be joined with cancellation C on T dot train name and C dot train name. So basically, you know that the resultant for this query, like from till here, what will be the output for this? So let's see, we will have a table. What we are selecting? Booking ID, passenger, train name. So you can see from train name and this, right? Train ID and both the train ID should be same. So again 101 and 101, again we are taking the same example again and again. So we already know the answer. So okay, 101, so Rajdhani with this Raj, one time Rajdhani with Raj and one time Rajdhani with Gauri. So what we are selecting? Booking ID passenger. So passenger you can say Raj, passenger you can say Gauri. For booking ID for them is 201, 202. So 201, 202. Now 103 Duranto will be matched with Lisa. So Lisa having booking ID 203. Okay. Now we are selecting train name also. So train name will give Rajdhani. Rajdhani for both Raj and Gauri. Okay. And Duranto for Lisa. Okay. Now what is another column we are selecting? Reason, C dot reason. Okay, C dot reason we are selecting. So based on 201, 202 and 203, because those are the booking ID. So from here we can say 201, 202, 203, the reason are maintenance, strike and weather issues. Okay, no, 202 is not there, right? 101 was matching. Okay, so you can say maintenance and then weather issues for last one. As a train name is both Rajdhani, right? So for Rajdhani, having the train ID 101. Okay. Again, maintenance. So this is a resultant of the first query. Now we are actually joining the cancellation on both the train name. Okay. So the train name. So obviously in the cancellation train, Rajdhani is there. Yes. And Duranto is there. Yes. So it will be matched. Now the final result will also be look like same. So this is how we actually created the complex view by merging multiple tables. Okay. So that is why it is called complex view. And here we can apply the join operations and all, but the normal DML operations are not allowed, because every time we are not sure that at every table and in every column we are going to update or not. So to basically prevent from data alteration, we are not allowing this DML operations every time, especially when the complex view is too complex, means you are applying joins on multiple number of tables. So this is how we do to create a complex view. Now let's see the last, which is modifying views. So to update a view, we use create or replace syntax and drop if exist. So basically we write a query, and modifying views is something like you want to modify the view. Basically you can even change the column name, or you can even change the views table name and all, right? So if you want to apply operation just for the view purpose, view like on the view table, then that is called modifying views. So how you can do it? So you can either write create or replace syntax, or you can say drop view if exist. So it allows us to redefine the view without dropping it. So let's see. First, this is a basic query, like how we can create the passenger bookings view, normal view, by applying the join operation on these two tables. Okay, so you have created it now. Now you want to modify. Modify means, let's suppose you want to modify the name of the view. How you will do it? So basically, let's suppose these are the two queries. So this query will run in your SQL, okay, and this query will run in your Postgres or Oracle. Okay. So in SQL, how it runs, basically it says drop view if exist passenger booking. So it is saying if passenger booking is already there, then drop that view and then again create a new view. So this is how we are modifying. Okay. But in case of Oracle, you can directly say create, like create one new view. Okay. Or replace if already a new view is already there, then replace it. So this is a basic query, and then all the other queries like selecting these things from booking table and train table on this booking ID and train ID should be equal condition. So this is how we actually modify the view. So in SQL, we need to drop basically the whole structure along with the whole data in it will get deleted, and the new view with the passenger booking you need to create. In case of Postgres or Oracle, when we write the query, basically we are saying create a bookings table view, passenger bookings view. If it is there, if it is not there, if it is already there, don't delete it, just replace it. Okay. So this is the basic query difference between the SQL and Oracle we write. But the main agenda was, if you want to apply some modifications on the view table, either by changing the view name, view table name, column name, or anything, you can do it. And that comes under the modifying views concept. So this was all about the views in SQL, how simple views are created, how modifying and complex views are created, how the DML operations are allowed in simple view, and why not they are allowed in complex views and all. I hope you learned each and everything, because we have discussed in detail with the examples. And that is all for the whole lecture. Let's meet in another lecture with some interesting topic. Till then, keep learning, take care of yourself and your family too.